He'll tell you otherwise, but he is a definition of the man living the dream, that bloke, because he's got everything. He is sitting here and he's got his big toy shed full of his 7.810s and his 8000s and his 9.6 and he's got his lorries. He'll tell you he's hard done by, but yeah.
Everybody says I can't, so I'm gonna.
You jump in a 7.810, you go roaring off at the road. It's, you just know it looks cool.
So if we go back to the previous video, I think we can quote you, Alec, that you said you would never buy a self-propelled forager. It was never even a thought of yours. You'd never do it. You were adamant you were going to stick to a trailed. So tell us the story then. What on earth happened? What changed your mind?
Well, we got up to 500 acres with the trailed, and the JF we had from GRASSMEN went very, very well. And that really was my ultimate outfit on my 8520. And it was a pleasure to drive and a pleasure to use, and everybody loved looking at it because it was a bit out of the ordinary. But it was 500 acres isn't a massive amount of grass silage, but the timing's everything, especially with the AD grass, because we're selling on weight and we get a bonus to hit the right dry matter. And it was really difficult to hit the right dry matter with timings, with the weather all over the place. Sometimes, the grass would be too dry in 6 hours and too wet the next day, and we just could not pick it up fast enough. So when we had the chance to expand the silage, I started looking down the self-propelled route, and we would, I was probably going to buy a John Deere when I first sort of decided we'd have to do it. But we looked at a few, but we've had such good service out of all the class machinery, especially the combines over the years, that my friend locally is running a Jag 890 and just a brilliant bit of kit, and I thought, yeah, that seems like a bit of me, a bit of old school, as basic as you can get, loads of output. We tried a 7480 last year, John Deere, and it was okay. It had its problems. It was just one we hired to do a job, just as a bit of I wanted to see how the whole thing, cost-wise, time-wise, trailers-wise, I just wanted to see how it all worked. I didn't like the multi-knife system on it. For me, it just seemed a more simple drum and a better chop with a classic drum in a class. It was an older machine with one of the earlier cabs, and it was okay. Same 12-litre engine that we're running in our 9.6 tractor, so that I knew it was a good engine.
Yeah.
The John Deere parts, forager parts, have got very, very expensive. There's so many of these Jags around. There's a lot of really good dealerships. Class Western are just fantastic for parts. Great service. Got an independent guy that lives and breathes foragers. He's been brilliant. There's just so many of them around. I just thought, well, they can't be that bad. I went to look at an 850 to start with, obviously smaller than this, with a straight 6 engine. It wasn't quite nice enough because I'm pretty fussy with the kit, and I just wanted something real nice. And then this one came up a WM Bryce down the southwest, and it was just what I wanted. One of the very last 492s on a 12 reg. Yeah, so she's 40k as well. Got the hydraulic folding wheels. It's just sort of the last of the classics really, and it's the baby V8 engine that I wanted. So it's the same V8 Mercedes engine in the combines, exactly the same engine. So we keep all the parts and the filters, and it just seemed sensible to have a bit of similarity with the combines. It was a bit weird to start with, especially loading on the left-hand side of the machine. I wanted to load on the right, but all the trailer drivers were moaning because when we go off and help other people silaging, everybody loads on this side. So I gave in and said, well, I'll see how we get on, and I'm about used to it now.
And I see you've changed the mowing outfit slightly as well this year, Alec.
We've gone away from we still got front and backs, but we've gone away from the mounted, and we got 2 3-meter mowers, and the back one's got an auto swather, which is absolutely fantastic. Where we're growing our AD grass, it's on a Cotswold brash farm, so it's very stony, and we were having a lot of trouble not getting stones in the silage. So we swathed it all, and it makes such a lovely row. So when we were running the trail last year, we put 2 into 1 first cut, obviously, but now we're doing 3, and that's gone very well. But now the silage is just starting to push on for us acreage wise. I think we'll try and get a set of triples next year, and I'm adamant we're going to stick with the swathers. An 8.5 metre set with swathers would just be perfect. And this year, with the grass being so dry, it's we're picking. I mean, Andrew's mowing at the moment, so we're literally only 4 or 5 hours behind the mowers, and the moisture and the dry matter is just right. Whereas if we were hitting it again with the rake, it just the grass would just be that much drier. And that's in a year like this, that's what we're trying to avoid.
No, so is Alec going at the grass in a big way then? This big new self-propelled? Well,
the self-propelled that we would never get, because
you and for Alec standards, fairness.
Yes,
it is.
Well. Yes, it is. Yeah, he's going up. He's going up in the world of foraging. But then I think everybody we've sort of talked to about it, and that knows Alec's all been saying to him, oh, when you were on with you guys last time, we'd never have a self-propelled, I always want to run my big trail chopper. Well, that lasted 1 year, didn't it?
All she lasted 1 year.
All she lasted was 1 year, and now we're on to the self-propelled. But then I think they're hoping to build an AD plant on one of the farms just up the road from here.
Yeah.
And they want something like 1,500 acres of forage crops, which will obviously take quite a lot of arable out of our rotation.
Yeah.
But it would mean we would be doing a lot more silage than obviously what we're doing now. So I think the self-propelled was the way to go, and I think he wanted to get learning on it before he got thrown in the deep end with 1,500 acres in front of him.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, he's all right with it. He seems happy.
I suppose this whole grass thing sort of like learning curve nearly for you lot, or
well, yeah, we're all arable farmers, so this has all been a learning curve, I think, for all of us.
It's very arable country, isn't it?
Yeah. There's hardly any dairy farms or stock farms around here anymore that would be doing silage like this. I mean, there's a few more over this way from what we got. Like I live on the Cotswolds, and there's hardly any around me anymore. I mean, there's one big one where I actually used to work. But other than that, they've all slowly sort of disappeared, and a lot of it's arable. Few round bales, and that's yeah, that's it. Or flowers now. That's the new big thing, isn't it? Everyone's growing flowers. I think there's so many different ones. I get confused with what I don't even know what we're growing here.
So that's basically where you get paid to plant wildflower and the field.
Yeah, there's all sorts of different ones. We got legume mixes and all sorts of different things in them, and bird seed and bird feed mixes and flower mixes and clover mixes and every other kind of mixes.
Yeah.
There's so many, but like I said, I know we've got a couple here, and we've got one farm that's properly going into it now.
Right, just to be left.
Pretty much. I mean, a lot of it's gone in now. I expect probably nearly half the crop. Well, it would be half the cropping currently is gone towards that, and then next year it's even less again. The trouble is, though, I don't blame people, because if you're getting paid to do nothing, why would you pay us to come and farm it when you can be paid to plant? You plant it once, and that's it. You're getting paid then, aren't you? There's no need to. You're not paying us. You're not paying any outgoings really. You can just sit in your house and earn money all year round, really. But it's not farming, is it?
No,
it's not farming.
With all the schemes and stuff, the farming, even the livestock farming's changed in our area more than I've ever known. And finding good grazing land that's fenced for cattle is very, very difficult. So this farm in particular, all these fields we're chopping now, we do about 150 acres here. They're thinking that rather than chase around Oxfordshire for bits of grazing, they'll graze more of their own land, and then I'll grow the silage for them. And that means we can grow a ryegrass, silage, which would be better quality than the permanent grass that we're doing. So that's what I really enjoy, is growing crops for people. And I like doing the contracting, and we've got 2 new customers this year. But I like growing the grass and selling the crop, because that's what I like doing. I just love growing crops. The arable cropping's changed, and we're not growing winter barley because the margins just aren't in it. We've had to drop oilseed rape because of the crop failures, the problems with flea beetle, and the prices plummeting. We were growing a big acreage of beans, but that's gone. We're not got any beans this year, so we're using sort of some of the SFI schemes as break crops. So if we can put grass in the rotation on some of our heavy land, we can grow some big yields of grass. Our first cut AD grass on some thin land. We've just sold that to the AD plant at some 9.8 tonnes an acre over the Weybridge, which is very, very good. And we've got a second cut to do yet.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, for some arable farmers, they're fairly getting on with this grass rightly.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's a learning progress.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of pushing it up here and hoping for the best.
You've got the hang of the pit anyway, I was just about to say.
I don't know, maybe. I'm sure there'll be people that will watch this and go, God, what's he doing? But then I've never really done it before. I mean, I did a bit. I mean, I used to do a little bit on the dairy farm I worked on, but even then that was mostly just rolling the pit. It was never really proper clamping as such. So I've never really done, until I came to work for Alec and we actually just sort of started doing it, I'd never done a pit, so no one's ever taught me how to do it, or I've just sort of, he went, there you go, there's the loading shovel, do it.
Well, it's looking nice and even from here anyway.
That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
This is a bit of a horrible pit to do actually, because you've got to push it in. It's alright when it's like up here when it was nearly empty, but now that it gets full, you've got to push it up round the corner, and then you've got to try and fill this hole in, and it's...
Yeah, we got all the traffic slowing the trailers down then.
Yeah, that's why we do it like we do. Like they've cut the bit up here. They did the bit up here yesterday while the pit was empty, because otherwise you just get swamped with trailers. You just can't keep up. I mean, the loading shovel's brilliant, but it just hasn't quite got the oomph sometimes to get a whole tray load up and round that corner and up on the top of here. So you sort of have to fiddle and mess about a little bit and try and keep it nice and level. But this is where my OCD cuts in, and I spend ages fiddling and farting around.
Is the arable job looking slightly better this year compared to the previous years, I would think?
The crops look better, but the prices don't seem to want to improve, which is a bit of a worry, because the costs are just going up faster than we can keep up. A lot of the millers have imported a lot of milling wheat this time, rather than use UK. So yeah, I think growing the forage crops to use as break crops will just hopefully spread the risk for myself and the landowners that we work with.
Have you got any hire trailers on this year, Alec, or are they all your own now?
No, I've sort of built the trailer fleet over the last few years, and we've got 3 16-ton Baileys. And we've still got one Stewart that we put on if we need 4 trailers. So I want to try and change that for another Bailey next year. I'm just trying to build it all up slowly because we just can't go out spending huge amounts of money at the moment. We had a bad harvest last year. A lot of flooded crops, and I want to see the silage and the silage sales sort of grow naturally. I don't want to force it.
I suppose this bit of work during this sort of quiet time keeps the staffing job up as well. I suppose you can keep staff on all year round, can you now? Or?
So there's 4 of us here all the time, and another self-employed guy who drives the 9.6. He's on the mowers at the minute. And yeah, I mean, this is a quieter time of year. I mean, we would be quiet without the silage work. And I don't want the lads looking around for other work because I need them here for harvest. So it has all just fitted in. You know, like this morning, I'd sprayers out early yesterday morning, and then I was mowing till late, and just keeping the spraying and the fungicide programs on time is important. So we've been, as long as we can get chopping by sort of 9, 9:30, the sprayers have been out since 5 in the morning. We're just trying to sort of juggle everything a bit at the minute. But no, it's been good. Lovely weather and nice tractors to drive, and yeah, we're all I'm sure the lads don't always think they're lucky, but I think they're lucky to be here.
What tractors have you got on today?
We got Andrew's 7810 just next to us at the moment. I've actually got my daughter's 7710 on trailer today because
she's quite blingy.
She is, yeah. That's Abby's tractor because Martin's 7.8 just broke the little clutch cable yesterday, so he was sort of unloading, and all of a sudden we had no clutch pedal. Broke out Abby's 7.7, and then we've got the little 6920 that we've only had that about 6 weeks. We've got 2 of the 7.8s that were like, you know, they were doing all the runabout, the topping, trailer work, hedge cutting. They're just doing crazy hours. So I thought a little, you know, a small 150 horsepower tractor as a runabout wouldn't go amiss. Anyway, this one came up, and I really wanted a 6910S, but I couldn't find anything that was low enough hours to really, you know, to work hard. So that one came up, but it's a very, very early one. It's a non-common rail, so it's got the 6910S engine in it. So I thought that's the one.
Yeah.
It's got a linkage on it. We just put some tyres on the back. I want to give it the summer and just make sure she's going to run okay, and then we're going to set about it and really do her up next winter and tidy her up. But yeah, it's been a good little tractor. It goes well. It's only done 6,700 hours.
It's no 7.810 though, Alec. It doesn't really fit in. You know, you're going to have to.
It's not, but we've got plenty of 20 series. We've got 5 other 20 series. Yeah, it's nice. I like the fact that it's a very, very early one, and there wasn't many with that engine. So, yeah, I like it. The lads don't moan about driving it, so.
What is new? We got that new 6.9.
Seen that. I like that.
We sold the 7.9, which I'm still not over really. I'm a bit upset about that. But
is that the one you were spreading fertilizer in?
That's it. Yeah, the one you videoed last year. That's gone.
That's a bit rude.
It was. Yeah. He finally bought me the tractor I've been asking him for years, and then sold it. It was almost like he was poking at me with it.
Just teasing.
Yeah, that's it. Just teasing me. And then he went and sent me a photo of a 7920 at the weekend, and I said, "Oh yeah, brilliant. I'm not buying it." "Oh right, thanks."
Thanks for the update.
Cheers, Alec. just trying to wind me up all the time.
I appreciate it.
He'll tell you otherwise, but he is a definition of the man living the dream, that bloke, because he's got everything. He's sitting here and he's got his big toy shed full of his 7.810s and his 8,000s and his 9.6, and he's got his lorries. You know, he'll tell you he's hard done by, but yeah. I mean, it is quite impressive, I suppose. You walk in there and you see it all, and you think, bloody hell, like, you know, he has got some stuff there now. I think it's 15 tractors or 16 tractors now, I think. So, I mean, the newest one we got is the 8.3, and that's an 08 play, the 8330. And that's my favourite. That's a hell of a tractor, that is.
Yeah.
She's had some little bit of fine tuning, and when I say fine tuning, I think they just opened it up and hoped for the best, and it doesn't have to go well, that tractor. So yeah, I mean, our newest tractors, yeah, like I say, 2008. So what's that? That's I can't even, maths isn't my strong point.
Yeah.
But it's old. It's old. It's old in compared to what a lot of people would run.
Yeah.
For someone that's doing all this contracting and 3,000 acres of arable farming, it's
old. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
It's not a collection. It's a working fleet.
Yeah.
That's what he'll say. It's not a collection.
Fair
It's
enough.
not a collection.
He's not wrong. It does work.
I mean, yeah, some of it does.
I wonder at what point does it become a collection? Huh?
I don't know. I don't think we're far off that now, are we?
Yeah.
I think at the point where he's got most of the 7/8/10s in the country, I don't know whether he'll stop then. But I've never seen somebody that's that interested and invested in keeping tractors looking that smart all the time. If he's going, oh yeah, absolutely. Like he's got some of the smartest tractors of anybody around, and they're, like I say, most of them are 20, 25 year old now, and some of them look as fresh as they could be a year too old.
And what have you got on the pit today?
We've got my guilty pleasure is on the pit. Got a very nice 418S that I bought. We've had it a couple of years now, but we sort of went to town on it in the winter and got it done up nicely. And it had been on a dairy farm from brand new down in Somerset, a big dairy. It was very straight mechanically, but it was looking a bit tatty. Stripped a lot of it down, and we've repainted a lot of it, repainted the plastics, because the JCB yellow plastics, especially around the engine bays, all sort of go that really faded yellow.
Colour, yeah.
We freshened her up, put some new tyres on it. Mechanically, we, apart from give it a, it has a major front to back service every year, we haven't done a huge amount to it mechanically. She's been very, very good. So he's got a 12-foot Albert buck rake on the front with a push off. It's not a massive shovel, it's only a baby really, but it does a very, very good job, and he does a good job of the pit. It's perfect for what we want. He's in quite a fiddly pit today, where he has to sort of push it up and then round the corner up the pit. You'd struggle with a rigid telescopic, just turning the grass right-handed like that. But the Arctic shovel's very, very good.
Like, what's it like going from driving a trailer beside a combine to a silage harvester? Like,
No, it's not much.
the
It's
boys
not
get on
really.
to it all right and everything like that?
Yeah, I think if you asked Alec, he'd probably tell you different. But I think, I think it's fairly self-explanatory, really, isn't it? Driving a trailer, it's just you just sit where you're told to sit.
You'd think that, but some people make it look really hard.
Yeah.
Like me sometimes. But we'll not talk about that.
I don't know. It sounds like we are. No, I think I find it easy enough. Sometimes silage is sometimes easier, depending on who you've got on the forager, I suppose. Because some people like to load the trailers, and all you got to do really is just sit in one place, and that's it. Whereas combines, obviously, you don't have the same movement of the spout and messing about, so you have to concentrate a lot more when you're doing
And it's more expensive if you spill the stuff.
Yeah.
They haven't moaned. To be fair, I think they're happier now we're loading on that side.
Yeah.
Although to me, it's easier that side. But anyway, we won't go there. They've been good. Yeah. I think Christian's finding it a bit busier on the pit. Yeah, I think just up the output of the mowing next year, and we'll have everything we need for the next 3 or 4 years.
So what is that stuff then?
That's orange peel.
All orange peel?
That's all orange peel. So they won't put a sheet on this, they'll put that on top.
What?
Apparently it works. So I've heard of people doing it. I've never seen anybody do it. The last few years they've struggled to get hold of any, so they've sheeted it. But this year they've obviously got the orange peel, and they're going to put it on top. So, which is fine, but they didn't tell me until today that they wanted to definitely do that. And he said, we need you to keep it nice and level along the top, because they can't obviously let it fall off the sides.
Yeah.
But by then I'd already made it into a mound, so I spent all day today trying to re-erect my sides, which
You You didn't have to say that. We didn't know that part. So. How many oranges do they eat for breakfast then?
Oh, Brian loves oranges.
Honey.
He's been working on that the last 40 years.
Looks that way.
To be honest, I don't actually, I guess it comes from just out of a food waste plant, I suppose. I guess they just sort it and somehow get the orange peel out of just general food waste and mulch it a bit, because it looks mulched up to me.
Yeah.
Although there is one whole orange in it, but that's probably Brian's breakfast.
You know, I did think there was a smell of oranges like whenever I got out of there.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what that stuff was.
I mean, I'm quite pleased that I'm not the one that's got to put it on top of it, because I imagine that ain't going to smell too friendly after a couple of days.
Oh, probably not.
So I'm quite glad they're going to do that
Now, I
themselves.
wonder, do you waste a bit of the top layer of the grass? Having that on top, or
to be honest, I
does
don't
the whole
actually
thing
know.
just get mixed into the...
Yeah, I don't know. I know that it's something to do with the. I think it's something to do with the acid in the peel itself that's somehow preserved.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking rubbish. I actually have no idea. It can't be that bad. I suppose if there's more than one person doing it. I mean, we got one place that a friend of ours does. They don't even sheet the clam. They just leave it like however they finish with putting it in there. That's it.
That
Job
has
done.
to be so joyous.
And they end up with sort of so much waste on top, and they think that's acceptable, and they just save sheets, save tyres, save anything else. They just be alright.
Well, let's give the grass to do it.
Well, exactly. I mean, you wouldn't want to do that this year, would you?
Yeah.
You've traded the previous machine in, have you, for this?
Yeah, I sold the JF to a nice guy up north in Lancashire, and then put the money towards this. So.
She's been well looked after anyway.
Yeah, one careful owner, one lady owner. I have to say, I do like it. I've sort of got my head around driving it. The maintenance is pretty straightforward on it, but in the mornings it's pretty good. You know, if there's nothing to fix, half 3/4 an hour does diesel and a grease round and sharpen up, and she's got auto shear bar on it, which is nice. Some of the other 492s were a manual one, which is nothing wrong with them, but for an idiot beginner, the auto's easy to use. I just get a bit too obsessed with filling the trailers up. I need to learn to chill out a bit, but no, I like to get them stacked right up.
So did you always sort of have in your head that you wanted the slightly older machine then?
I just wanted something that was reliable and easy to fix.
Yeah.
And if you get a blow up on one of these, there's plenty of spare parts. You know, you got something with a VMAX drum, you're going to jump to find that second hand, or one worth it's putting in. You know, there's a lot I'm learning, and there's a lot of stuff I can do myself. You know, or even if one of the lads was helping me. So far, touch wood, I'm missing driving my 8520.
Yeah.
It's just such.
You're not missing the neck pain.
No, look, you get used to it. It's a bit like
a
bit like the first fortnight when you're back on a hedge gutter. You want to just put your head in the neck brace. It was just a lot of fun to use, but no, I do like this. This has been good, and if I want to go forward and not compromise the spray programs and the timings, we needed to get through the silage quicker. So I'd like to build the silage up to sort of 1,800 acres through May, June and July, and then, you know, I don't really want to get involved with maize at the moment because it'll clash too much later in the autumn. You know, we've still got 3,000 acres of cereals to look after. You know, I can't have a silage team and 5 drills and a sprayer and cultivators. There's just not enough people to go around.
I think as long as this AD plant comes off, if that happens, I think, silage will be, it'll be the half of the business, because like I said, they wanted 1,500 acres of silage and rye and whole crop grown for it, and at the minute we're only 3,000 acres, so if you think about that's half of our cropping, so we will be down, we'd be down to, at the minute we would be down to 1,500 acres of arable, and we'd be on 1,500 acres of silage and whole cropping and rye, and so it would be it would be one of the biggest things we'd be doing. So it'd almost overtake the arable, so we all better get pretty good at it.
Yeah, that'd be a strange transition now, in fairness.
I mean, it could be it'll be a very good thing. I mean, the way that farming's going with the flowers and all this other stuff, you know, all this SFI and all these other things that seem to be changing at the moment. I think the future of British farming in general is all a bit at the moment with everything that's going on. So I think the AD plant, you know, if that comes, it'd be a guarantee of work.
Yeah.
And it will, you know, certainly be a nice stable thing for Alec to be on board with. It just means it'd be more of this and less combine. It would probably only go down to one combine, and it would all, you know, the arable side would slow right down. It'd be a nice change, I think. You know, I mean, Alec's obviously been doing arable for, I don't want to even guess because he'll get upset if I start guessing numbers.
Yeah.
For a long time, and I think it'll be a nice change for him. He'll enjoy doing. He enjoys doing the silage, so he'll certainly enjoy doing more of it, for sure.
I'd like a set of class triples with swathers because we got class rake. A set of John Deere mowers would look the biz on a 7/8/10. If I had the choice, I'd probably buy a set of class ones because, say, the parts are so good at Western, and they'd be a little bit lighter because swathers would be heavy.
He's on about a set of triples with swathers on the back.
Well, he's plenty horsepower to...
Well, you say that, but he's on about putting it on the 7/8/10. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes.
Everybody says I can't, so I'm gonna.
You'll be wrong.
But when you're cutting 8.5, 9 metres, it doesn't matter if you go a bit slower.
Yeah.
You still cover a lot of ground, and it'd be so easy because at the moment with the front and back, you mow obviously one swath with both mowers down, and then you hold the front one up and do a single swath to make 3 into 1. It's not the diesel. I mean, a raking tractor doesn't use much diesel, but it's just another machine to fix. And to be honest, everybody has got labour issues, and you know, you don't want to be hiring other people in because they might not always come when you need them. So I think we'll try and stick with the swathers if we can. I'm amazed more people don't do it, and I know, like, if you're doing multi-cut, you need the grass to wilt early on, and I get that. If you have the weather, there's nothing wrong with swathing it. It still wilts. It's just that you just got that danger at the minute of getting it too dry. Because it's been so dry for so long, the grass is very fibrous, so there's not a lot of what I would sort of call sugary juice in it. I mean, it's a lovely colour and it makes some good silage, but it's not as lush as it would normally be. And we would have been cutting this week 10 days ago, even permanent pasture. But you know, the bulk just hasn't been there with it being dry.
I think, yeah, it's certainly something to look at, and you know, we get a lot of people that say how impressive it all is, and you know, and you sort of do look at them going across the field like the 7/8/10s and stuff, and you do think, yeah, that is pretty cool. I enjoy it. I like driving them. I think they're. I'd rather spend the day driving the stuff here than sitting in a 215R or something like that, because you're the same as everybody else, isn't it? Everyone's got a 215 or a 250R, and
Yeah.
I'm sure they're lovely, but you know, you jump in a 7/8/10, you go roaring off at the road. You know, you just know it looks cool.
So probably doesn't wear off then.
I don't know. I don't know. Again, ask me after I've driven one for a week, and I'll give you a different answer.